Hey, my name is Alec Wenzel, and today we're going to be talking about the Walrus Audio Voyager. This is going to be kind of a non-traditional review in that I'm not reviewing the pedal overall, but we're reviewing it in the context of my board and how I would use it professionally, and ultimately why it's not on there, why I'm thinking about getting rid of it. We're going to compare it to my Keeley Katana, which is a clean boost. Going to compare it to the VS10, which is a TS10 clone by the Tone Geek and Frog Pedals. We're going to compare it to the Pettyjohn Chime, and we're going to compare it to the Silktone Fuzz. This is just sort of like therapy for me. Help me go through my pedals and why I'm using some of them versus why I'm not. I kind of know internally, but I'd love to be able to voice it, and that's sort of going to be a series that I go through with some of my older pedals and what I'm doing with them. I am trying to grow this channel, so there's 5 subscribers. Nobody sends you anything when only 5 people want to watch your content. So maybe in the future I will be able to say this is a paid promotion, but today it is absolutely not. I bought this with my own money, and it was one of the first drive pedals I bought out of college because back then you could sell me on anything that was a warm compressed overdrive. So we'll look at that sound a little bit too. What I'd used it for back then, what I would use it for now, why it's not on the board. So now let's jump into some sounds. The camera's going to kind of move around the pedal board so you can see the Walrus Audio next to what I'm comparing it to. But other than that, it's all sort of a part of the same chain. But here's how I would have my Katana set for a clean boost. Here's my clean tone. Here's the Katana. And here is the Walrus Audio Voyager. So super close, right? All right, so the camera moved one more time, and right now it's sort of hovering over the Walrus Audio Voyager, the Pettyjohn Chime, and the VS10. Now, in my chain, the VS10 and the Pettyjohn Chime sort of trade their way in and out. It depends on how affected I want the signal to be. The Pettyjohn's a little clearer, and the VS10 is a little bit more of a high-gain tube screamer style sound. So we can hear a little bit of both of those in the Walrus Audio Voyager, and we're going to check that out now. Here's my clean tone, because God forbid I forget the clean tone. Notice that the Walrus Audio Voyager and the Valve Screamer are a little bit more gain heavy. We're going to increase the Pettyjohn's gain just to sort of hear what that sounds like. Notice how, even though it's sort of sitting in between them, when you have the Pettyjohn on, it's a little cleaner. It doesn't affect your overall EQ as much. This is precisely why I like it in front of my amplifier, because I'm using a Fender style amplifier and I kind of want to preserve that original Black Panels sort of EQ style, that scooped sound. Both the Valve Screamer and the Walrus Audio Voyager affect that, pushing up in the EQ a little bit. Whereas on the Pettyjohn, I'm hearing a little less of that. All right, so now we've got the camera positioned right over my fuzz, and the Walrus Audio Voyager is sort of next to it. I tried to set it as similarly as possible, but what I'm using the silk tone fuzz for is more like a fuzz face, right? I've got the fuzz turned all the way up and the volume set for lead boost, basically, and we're going to hear those each on their own. The Walrus Audio is set with gain all the way up, and I've tried to set the tone similarly, but we'll just have to hear what happens. Here's my clean tone. Again, a big E chord. Yeah, it's just not a fuzz. But there is nothing wrong with that lead tone. So as you heard in all those clips, like, it doesn't sound bad anywhere. It sounds great. So why isn't it on my board? Why am I not using the Walrus Audio Voyager? Ultimately, it just all comes down to preference. I like the bass boost that I get from the Keeley Katana. I prefer the way the TS10 is compressing, the TS10 clone, rather, the VS10. I feel like I get more control out of the Pettyjohn chime, and my fuzz gets heavier than this does for that sort of end of chain volume boost, gain boost. But really, it could sit in any of those positions, right? It's an amazing role-playing overdrive, and it sounds really great all over the place. So why get rid of it? Well, I've got too many pedals and I want to try other stuff. And I recently bought some other things. When you're playing a lot and you're collecting pedals and you want to try things, you don't always get to keep everything. And that's okay. It means somebody else gets a great deal, and they also get to try this out on their board. And maybe it's amazing for them and it stays on forever. I can see a ton of uses for the Walrus Audio Voyager, but ultimately, for me right now, I just need to move on to other things. If you liked my video talking about the Walrus Audio Voyager, as I said earlier, I've got 5 subscribers. I'd love to grow. I'd love to, have more people come in and talk about pedals with me. And if you liked what I had to say, or if you liked my playing, please like and subscribe. And, feel free to let me know in the comments what you liked or didn't like about the video. I'd love to be able to talk about more of my pedal collection and what's going to go on there and what's going to stay and why what's there is already there. Thanks for hanging out today, and I hope to see you again.